Meeting of the Judiciary and Licensing Committee for Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. Are there any citizens' comments? Citizens' comments, citizens' comments, seeing none. We'll move on to number 3, approval of the August 18th, 2020 minutes. Is there a motion? Nick, second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. Number 4, beverage operator applications 2019 through 2021 of Donna Anslum, Vicki Berg, Matthew Drexler, Todd Jensen, Emily Pillar, Robin Scarbrough, Morgan Schmitz, and Brandi Zdun.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Seeing none, we'll move on to number 5, beverage operator application of Dustin Larson. Assistant Chief?
A few things to note on Larson's application. Couple failures, all the information. Only this one operating rules violation. There's May. Failed to list an arrest. Conviction of July 9th. He also failed to list his arrest on 5/28/19 by the Marshfield PD for operating while suspended and failure to fasten seatbelt, with convictions on 6/12/19. Additionally, he does have felony arrests. He was convicted of a felony on 11/26/07. That felony was representations depicting nudity of an individual without their consent. On his application, he does somewhat list this apparently as capturing an image. Other miscellaneous information is that he's a convicted sex offender prior to the MDPD arrest, as he was arrested in Wood County warrant for sex offender registry violation on May 7th of 2007. And that charges a second and subsequent offense, sex offender, for failure to provide information with a conviction date of April 16th of 2009.
Are there any questions from the committee? Yes.
Chief, Assistant Chief, are you aware of anything related to that felony conviction that would affect him selling alcohol at the store?
I'm not aware of anything that was alcohol related with that whatsoever.
Are there any other questions from the committee? Tom?
No.
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to approve the license for the beverage operator license with 25 points for failure to complete the application properly.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
So we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. Seeing none. Number 6, request from Chestnut Center for the Arts to amend the premise description of their Class B combination liquor license for a one-day event to be held on Saturday, September 26, 2020, fall Beerquinox. Deb?
Yep, I'll take one. Thank you. So you see the request before you. I did run it by the police department and fire department to see if they had any opposition to it. Neither one of them had any problems, so I would recommend approval for this one-day event.
Are there any questions from the committee? Tom, any questions?
Mm-mm.
With that, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for for a license, a one-day liquor license.
It's just amending their premise description.
Okay, amending the premise description.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Seeing none. Number 7, request from Nutz Deep II to amend the premise description on their Class B combination liquor license. Deb?
Thank you. So Nutz Deep does hold some events throughout the year, and they come before you to amend their premise description for each of these events. They have requested a permanent amendment of their Class B combination license to include the southeast parking lot behind their place of business at 809 South Central Avenue. And they would not serve out there unless they would have one of these events. And I would say this would probably high side by 5 or 6 events a year. They do know that they can't enclose that permanently only because of parking restrictions. So they would only use it during these events. If you don't see the need to approve it permanently, then they did submit a request for an event that they're holding on October 17th, but they would prefer a permanent amendment. I did run it past the zoning department as well as fire department and police department, and they have no opposition to it as well.
Okay, are there any questions? Yes?
Do they have to get a permit from zoning or somebody when they put up the fence to enclose this or anything? Or is this the only limitation on what they do?
Right, so I did speak to zoning on this one when they requested a permanent amendment, and they had no problem with it as long as it was not 12 months out of the year because of the parking restrictions. It doesn't have anything to do with fencing, but I spoke to Ann and they would only use it for these 3 to 5 events that they have in a year. And they wouldn't always use that whole parking lot. And if you know the back of the tavern, they have like 3 or 4 parking lots. So it's not that main one.
Mhm.
It's mainly the one coming out of the garage door.
Right.
I have just a slight reservation. It's my understanding that they've held numerous events. We've given them waivers, I think, every time, and they've never had issues. So I'm not really worried about that, but I am a little bit concerned. And I know that they've addressed it in here, but I'm a little bit concerned that we give permission, and unless we would specifically state that it's only applicable when individually fenced, I'm a little afraid that a blanket approval, they say we'll have a fence, but unless I think we had it specified, I'd be a little bit worried that people are just going to go out back or have the legal ability to go out back and have an open container out there without the fencing for non-event times. That would be my only reservation. Otherwise, I would have no problem. As I said, I don't know of any problems that they've had, and they've had numerous events like this fenced in, so I don't really have a reservation other than to stipulate in that that motion that they would have to have fencing at any time that anybody would be consuming in that area.
Would you like to make a motion to that
Sure, I would
effect?
move to grant the permanent amendment with the stipulation that anytime anyone is consuming alcohol in that area, that area is fenced.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Seeing none. 8, items for future agendas. Anybody? Going once, going twice?
Nope.
Okay, with that, we are adjourned.
We gotta shorten these meetings up.
This one was long.